Mendez, what has dumped on my desk? Hello, everybody. I am Mary Ann Franzese Chasin, principal of Spark Elementary, and welcome to Called to the Principal's Table, where we look at the kinds of problems that come our way on a daily basis and give you a glimpse into how we solve them, who we are, who our people are on this team. And I see, it looks like the early childhood literacy program was dumped onto my desk. I have wipe-off boards, big books, Dan the Flying Man. I guess this is a poetry journal. Come to me, said Mr. Tree. I will come to you, said Mrs. Shoe. Who wrote these poems? Miss Rosalie, our literacy teacher. Brilliant. Okay, so why do I have all this on my desk, Mendez?
Well, it looks like Miss Rosalie was in here.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Early childhood literacy. We have been getting some complaints about noise coming out of that room. Like screaming, laughter,
Music,
wild fun. What is going on in that room? I don't know. I've got to find out. Let's see. Let's get some of those little people out here. Call to the principal table. Get in here, Felipe. Right here, I have a seat for you. Come right up here on my stool. Up. Felipe is
right here.
up. Eleanor, come here in the black chair. Madeline, come here in the black chair. Ah, they're swirly. Sit with Eleanor. And who have I got here? Abby. How wonderful, Felipe. You good up there? So, who have I got here? I've got Miss Abby. I have Julia. I have the swirling sisters. They're not really sisters. Madeline and Eleanor and Felipe. So, boy and girls, why is there so much screaming in Miss Rosalie and Mrs. B's class? What are you doing in there, Eleanor?
We are having fun.
What kind of fun? What are you doing screaming and yelling in there? What do you do with this?
Bowling.
Bowling? Come on. What does bowling have to do with words? How do you bowl?
You only throw all the pins.
You knock down the pins. What are on these pins?
Words.
Words? What kind of words? Do you know these bowling pin words? What do they say? What?
They're sight words.
Sight words? Words you see and know, and then you knock them down?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. So we have bowling, we have fun. Why else are you making so much noise? What are you doing in that room? What are you doing there, Julia? What do you do?
Play.
Learn? What are you learning how to do?
I forgot.
Figures. Abby forgot. Uh-oh. We might need to have a lesson in reading. But you kids are too little to read. Do you know how to read yet?
Yes. Yes.
Wait a second. How old are you?
5.
How old are you?
4.
How old are you?
5.
How old are you?
4.
How old are you?
5.
And you know how to read?
Yep. I read Bubble Eva.
You know levels of books? Holy cow. How did that happen? How did you learn to read?
Miss
happened.
Rosalie told us.
Miss Rosalie taught you? How'd she teach you?
I don't know.
You don't know, it just happened, poof, like this. Should we bring out Miss Rosalie?
Yes.
Yeah, let's get Miss Rosalie to the principal's office. Miss Rosalie! So, Miss Rosalie, we have been having tons of complaints
Oh no.
that your class is so noisy.
Yes, we have a lot of fun.
What are you doing in that room?
Remember when we play with the shaving cream?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Bowling
we went
and
all over the
bowling.
table with
He
the
loves
stick
bowling.
and
This is
bowling. Right?
now. This is what I don't understand. How do 4-year-olds have loose leaf binders? What are these things
What do we
for?
do? What's in there?
There's a poetry journal.
A poetry journal. Do you know that I'm a poet? I love poetry journals.
And you know what, Principal Marion? They love to read their poems.
No, they know
Yes.
how. Okay.
Yes. Let's
Who wants to read a
You have to
poem?
see whose journal that is. Let's see. They all
This
have their
is Madeline. Want to read a poem? All right, let me hear it.
I like you. You like me. I look at you. You look at me. We are friends.
Yay! That's so great!
Miss Mendez is crying. Why are you crying, Miss Mendez?
Because they're so tiny and they have such big brains.
All right, let's all look
Wanna
at
try
this one and tell her, I like you.
You like No,
Me.
it's I like you. You like me. I look at you. You look at me. We are friends from Barney. That's a tune I copied from Barney. Sorry, Barney.
So are these poems
Sorry.
or well, guess what? Poems usually do turn into songs. That's how
Yes, we do a
songwriters
lot.
do it. So you not only read your poems, you sing your poems?
Yes, we do. We sing our poems. We sing poems. We start out with first the Letterland. Who comes visit us? Who are some of your favorite letter people? Abby, who was funny?
Vampirina.
How about you, Julia? Who did you love?
Anna.
Anna, who did you love?
Elsa.
How about you, Eleanor?
Lady Gabi.
Gaga. And how about you, Felipe? Who did you like?
The rock star.
The Rocks. And guess what?
Wait,
There's
words
someone here.
just in, Miss Mendez?
Word is Justin.
What happened?
Someone from Letterland came to surprise you.
Who is here from
Okay.
Lady Gabby Gaga, come take a seat. Oh my gosh, let's make room.
Hi, everybody.
Let's help you out
Gabby
there. Thank you,
Gaga.
Miss
We
Mendez.
were trying to get visitors from Wordland too.
Oh
Waiting
no,
to hear
they're
from
really
them.
busy today.
Okay.
They have a big word party going
So
on
good
in
to
Letterland.
see you.
It's so good to see everyone. I missed you guys.
Oh, I have a question for
Yes,
you,
yes.
Lady Gaga.
Of course.
Tell me something, girl. Are you tired of living in this modern world? Oh, it's Lady Gabby Gaga on the set. Do you sing?
I meddle. I
I
can
meddle?
do. I love G words.
Oh, G is for Gaga.
Yes.
And I heard that you guys have been learning some words. My
Yeah.
friends have been telling me. Do you know a word that starts with G?
Oh.
Felipe, what's a word that starts with G?
Eleanor.
What word starts with G?
Green.
Green.
What about you, Eleanor?
Go.
Oh, quick
Go
one.
is one of my favorites. Anyone else know a G word? Do you know a G word?
Hmm.
Abby?
What is Lady Gabby Gaga? Do you remember what she loves to play?
What do I love to play?
She's a rock star. What does she love to play?
What time?
A
A guitar starts with G.
I
She
love
had
my
a pet.
guitar.
But who's your pet again?
I had my pet, Gregory, the giraffe.
Oh, that's right. She loves the giraffe. And what does
I
she always
do.
love to eat? Who remembers what Lady Gabby Gaga loves to eat?
Wait, let me guess.
What do you think?
Guacamole.
I do like guacamole.
Starts with a G.
I like guacamole and grapes.
Grass?
Wheatgrass.
Gregory likes grass.
Giuseppe.
Oh, Giuseppe's
Oh.
my butt. Oh, he's not here
And Gavin,
today.
right?
Gavin.
Yes.
And little Gabby in the class.
So you've got lots of G's.
I do.
And George.
And George, yes.
George is a nut. You know a lot of G words,
Yes.
Felipe. Now, we had Julia, that's a J, not a G. Julia, when you first started, you didn't speak any English, right? What did you speak when you first came to us?
I don't know.
But that just sounded like English.
Yes.
You were speaking only Polish, right? And Felipe here, Miss Rosalie's amor,
Yes. mi
you
amor.
are bilingual. That means you speak 2 languages, right? What other language do you speak?
English and Spanish.
Oh, the best. English and Spanish. We have languages and words, but we've got a lot going on here. Now, I know there's someone else who's part of your team. Who else teaches with Miss
Who
Rosalie?
is it?
Who is it?
Miss Rosie?
There.
Who's the other lady who teaches with her? Mrs. B.
Miss
Ah, Miss Belgiorno.
There she goes.
There's Mrs. B on the at the table. So, Mrs. B, you are called to my office because there has been so much noise coming out. Who is to blame for this? She's the
I
What?
drive Miss B crazy.
Yes.
I
She's the
know.
best. She puts
Miss
up with
B,
me.
Miss B,
Miss
you
B.
are a good sport
She
with Miss
is.
Rosalie. So tell me, how do you start your day usually?
Class news.
What can you show us a little class news?
Yes,
Sure.
we
Would
can.
you guys like to show them how we do class news?
Perfect.
Mhm,
And
okay.
you know what? Great.
Let's
so we
put
need some
that away.
whiteboards.
Okay. Should
Okay.
we set up Lady Gaga can hold our whiteboard board? Do
Yeah, I
we?
think Miss B will hold this. Yep.
Oh,
Boards.
I'm gonna have you come down and stand so you can write
Yes.
and stand. That's
Okay.
Okay.
Good job. We'll put this down. Perfect.
good. That's good.
And as they're setting up, their favorite band is Dan.
Oh, Dan the Flying Man by the famous
Joy Kelly.
Kelly.
We love her.
Okay.
So
Yes.
everybody has
Yes.
a wipe-off
Yes.
board,
Yes.
an eraser, and a wipe-off marker. Who's doing the news today?
Mom,
Okay.
don't forget, you
Oh,
pick it out.
Always,
You always
we
pick it out.
choose to make it
Oh,
fair.
it's fair.
It's fair.
Mm-hmm.
Abby!
Abby.
Abby, you get to do class news today. Okay.
Want me to hold that? Oh,
Okay.
I could be designed. Oh, okay.
And Miss
Perfect.
Rosalie, you can come over
Yes,
here.
Okay,
and
Abs.
Gabby, you're gonna be here, and
You're-
I'll
you're
stay
gonna
right
turn
here, and I
around
need
and
my board. Do I have
Lean
a
on
board?
Miss.
Oh, I'll take your board again.
Or
Miss
you want to
Gabby.
come
Miss
stand
Abby.
here?
Yes, sorry.
Hey,
Oops.
baby.
Next to Abby.
Okay,
Yes.
look, Ab, you're gonna write on
And
here,
Julia,
okay?
you can stand up right by Miss
Yeah.
B. We're going to let Miss Rosalie in there.
Okay, so let's go. So Abby,
Is that high enough for you? We'll sweep you over.
Miss Red, you're gonna prompt them.
okay.
Miss
So,
Rosalie.
Abby, tell me, sweetheart, what do you want to write today? What message would you like to say? Are you excited about being on TV? What's going on? Are you doing anything fun for the weekend? What do you want to write about today?
I love mommy.
You do? Oh, I know. What do you love about mommy? Why is she so special to you? I know, she's so nice. She's so nice. What does she do with you? Does she take you places?
She takes me places.
She does take you places. Like, what's some of the places that you go to?
The park.
The park? Okay, so what do you think? What do you want to write? How do you want to start it? Do you want to say, my mom takes me to the park, or do you want to say I like my mom? What do you think? What do you feel like writing today?
love mommy.
Okay, you want to say I love mommy. So everyone, let's all say Abby's message. You ready? I love mommy. This time let's count the words. Are you ready? I love mommy. Now
We love you, mommy.
yes, mommy. Now tell me, who can tell me what's the first word of Abby's message? What's
I.
I. Now you're gonna start with the little letter, a lowercase, or a capital. When you start a sentence. When do you
capital.
start? Beautiful,
Good job,
Felipe.
Felipe.
So beautiful. You're writing your I. Now we're gonna leave spaces between the words. And Abby, could you reread what you have so far? And you point to the words. I. What's the next word?
Like.
Like. You want to say
Or is
like
it
or
like
love?
or love?
Love. Okay, so now
Love.
what would you expect to see in the beginning of the word love? What letter?
L.
L. That's right,
Oh,
letter. Make sure we're leaving good spaces between the
L.
words because it's just like when we're
Yeah.
reading, we need spaces.
Good girl.
Wow. Oh, I
Good
see
job.
that was a quick and easy word for you
Good job. Oh,
already.
should write
You
so
knew that,
people
all
can
of you,
see.
you knew
Just
that
write
word
bigger.
quickly and easily.
Go like
Eleanor,
this bigger.
who can
Yeah,
tell me,
big.
what's the next
So people
letter in
can
the
see.
word love?
Eleanor, what's
Eleanor,
the
could
next
you spell
letter
it?
in
What's the
love?
next letter?
L. What comes after L?
O.
Oh, okay, good. You're going to write your O over here. Perfect. And what comes after that? Love. What do you hear?
V.
What letter?
What do you hear,
Love.
Eleanor?
V.
Good
V.
girl.
And what's that letter at the end? We always see it's that quiet letter. Yes, it's that A. L-O-V-E. Perfect. Okay, so Abby, could you reread your message and see what we have so far?
I love
What's the next word?
mommy.
Mommy. Now, wait a second. What would you expect to see in the beginning of the word
have to
mommy?
put
What do you
your
hear?
M.
M. So we're going to put an M, right? We have our
And
M.
don't forget your space.
Good. You got your M. Good job, everybody. Beautiful.
Good.
I think,
Now
oh
what
boy,
did
this
you
is
add?
another word that you, quick and easy word that a lot of you know. Mommy. Now, wait a second. Let's see what we need for mommy. Who can tell me what's the next letter? Madeline, what comes after the M for mommy? What letter comes next?
It's in your name.
There's M, and what else do we need? Like octopus.
O.
Yes, and now wait, I'm gonna put my finger underneath this word like this, and this is what we do when we're good writers. Let's go across and say it real
ahead,
slow.
try
Let's
it,
hear
right?
it. You ready?
Mom.
What do you hear?
M.
Two, right? There's two M's. So let's write two
No.
M's. I'm gonna write my two M's. Now wait a second. Let's go across again. Let's say it. Mommy. Wait a minute. That is just like Abby's name. It sounds like an E, but what is it?
Y.
Because the Y
A
sometimes makes the E sound. Now,
Y.
what kind of mark do you want to put at the end of your sentence? Do you want to do a period or an exclamation mark? Just a period? You just want to say, I love mommy. And if we had some more time, you could add a second sentence to that, right? What would you add to that? What would you say? You remember you told me she takes you to the park? So you might want to add that, and we could add that another time where we could say, she takes me to the park.
Ooh, let me see what's
wanna write
on
that?
these boards.
try-
Let me
Abby,
see.
do you want to put your name on the bottom?
There it
Right?
is. I love mommy with an exclamation point. And I see Madeline's. Felipe already erased his.
He's
Goodbye.
finished.
And Julia, you got yours?
Yes,
you want to
good
show
job.
You
us?
want to show us?
Yeah.
I
And then
love mommy.
Abigail.
And Abigail wrote her name. And then
Wow,
you
now
can throw a picture of
there's
you.
news. Awesome.
That
Thank
is awesome.
you. That makes
Yeah.
me clap.
And you know what? This is so exciting because when we do this type of writing, it's teaching them all about the early concepts of writing. And then what happens is they get to learn here as a whole class, and then they get to transfer it over to their own writing. And I think Eleanor did that.
Oh my gosh,
Yes.
Eleanor, we have one of your little books
Yes.
here. What does that say? Oh, let me see what we got. This is a picture book called Brooklyn.
Diary.
Brooklyn Diaries or Memories. Brooklyn Memories.
And fun.
And fun. So you kept your own little book where you were making pictures when you'd go see Brooklyn?
Yeah, and I colored the whole book in one day.
This is a beautiful picture book. So
I
excited.
tried to make a star, but I couldn't.
I see you're singing. Were you singing in Brooklyn?
That was my mom.
Your mom was singing. Oh my gosh, a whole big giant song.
And I made it for my mom because I missed her.
You missed your mom. So one of the ways that you took care of those sad feelings was by making the book. So wait a second. Can reading and writing help us with our feelings?
Yes.
How?
I don't know.
But you just told me you felt sad and you made a book. Is there ever a time when you read a book and it just makes you so happy? Or is there ever a character that just makes you so mad? I don't know. But reading can bring us all kinds of feelings. It opens up the world to us. All right. So you're not in trouble for making so much noise. I'm going to let you keep making noise in Miss Rosalie and Mrs. B's class. Is that good? Is it okay?
Yes. What do you think?
I think it's okay.
Yes. But guess what? We do have one of our fun games. Maybe you want to play one of our quick fun games that we do?
Yeah, let me see
We have
these
to dance.
games.
Okay,
All
here we go.
right,
Let's clear
let's
up
see
the
the
table, Miss B.
games.
Here we go. Me and Miss B, I'll clear this off. We love music and we love to dance. Oops, there it
I
goes.
love to dance.
So, watch this. Okay. Oh, wait, Miss. Okay, so remember we can't run around here because usually we kind of either run around and they get to pick.
We can dance in
Over
our
it, but we can
spots.
dance in our spots. You can stand up and dance, and when the
Everybody
music
is up.
stops,
Grab
when the
one.
music stops, you're gonna grab one, and then we're gonna say what it is. Okay?
All right, we're
So you have
ready.
to dance though
I'm
first.
about
Here
to
we
put
go.
my
Julia,
glasses on.
You ready? Here we go.
Okay, wait.
Lady
Okay.
Gaga.
Okay.
Dance with you guys,
Here we
okay?
go.
Tell me something, girl.
Ready? Hit it, Mendez. Ready, guys? Let's dance. Ready? Let's make our hands clap. Oh, let's do our chin. You gonna do the floor? Here, go ahead. Abby, go ahead, Abby. Who wants to do the floor? Here we go.
Nice,
And
Abby.
then what do we have to do with this?
Ready? And then we're gonna each do. Oh, go get
Red
it.
card, red card.
Got one.
Oh, I got one too. Oh, I got my favorite. Okay, Yes.
What do we have?
Can I go first? Can I go first?
Yes, what do you have?
I got go.
Okay, well, what do you have, Abby?
And
In!
In!
Woo! Felipe, what do you have?
two.
Two! What do you have?
She.
She! What do you have?
And
Yeah! What do you have, Julia?
love.
Love!
What'd you get?
What do
I
you
got here. Be here now.
Oh, that was so good!
I love this game. That was
fun.
fun.
And
Oh, so exciting.
I know. And they did bring one of their favorite big books. They'll just sing a little bit of it. Dan the
Sure,
Flying Man.
let's
Go ahead,
hear.
Miss B.
I'd love to
Close it
hear
up,
another
Miss B.
song.
Ready? Ready, Dan the Flying Man. You ready, guys?
Sing, ready?
Okay, let me hear
Here we go.
this.
Okay.
I am Dan the Flying Man. Catch me if you can. Over a house and over a crane. Over a bridge and over a train. Over flowers, over trees.
Oh,
Wait.
That's a mountain.
Over mountains, over seas. I am Dan the Flying Man. Catch me if you can. All the people ran and ran. They caught Dan the Flying Man.
You're awesome.
Oh, you're all right, all my little cuties. Thank you
We
for
love
coming.
having you. Amazing.
Go ahead, off you go.
Go ahead, my
We'll
love.
keep this. Go this way.
That was amazing.
And Miss Rosalie
Amazing,
and
yes.
Miss B, we will keep you on. And Miss Renna,
Okay. Yes.
stay right
On.
here.
Perfect. You guys did such
Yes.
an amazing job. Here we go. Okay.
Let's pull that chair over. Okay, so here we are. Come on in, girls, so we can see you. Miss Rosalie,
Yes,
pull on
oh,
over.
yes.
So here's the core, really, of the early literacy team. Oh, the big. Oh my God! You weren't Lady Gaga.
They don't know that.
Oh,
They really don't.
they love their Letterland people.
They
So
do.
here we are with the core team, and our early childhood literacy. I know we were joking about it, but it really is like an explosion of joy, but
Yes.
also of so many multi-dimensional learning, right? So we have this engagement through enactment, these Letterland
Yes.
people that they're connected to. We have immersion in like the poetry, which is so much the rhythm and the singing and the hearing of books. And then we also have this whole auditory piece, right?
Yes.
Listening and hearing books, and then moving into writing and reading.
Yes, correct.
And eventually, at this point in the year, our pre-Ks now are being read with individually.
Yes,
right?
starting in January.
They
get
after they've learned all their letters, sounds, gotten that
Yes.
base. And I know for you, Miss Rosalie, that early literacy has really been your heart and a very big piece of your career.
Yes, always. And I think, again, it starts with so much joy because you have. They're so little, and this is their first exposure to learning. So you want your children to feel that they can do anything, and they could learn anything, and they're amazing, no matter what they do. And there is a lot of joy and laughter. So that's why even the notion of teaching letters, it's about creating a meaningful character that comes to life. So they hold on to that memory of what that letter is. Or even if I'm doing letter cards to them to hear the sounds, it's movements that go with it because it helps their learning as well. And once they master these letters, then we start early, very on, even if they don't our children write Miss V, primarily they didn't know
They
their
couldn't-
letters at
Letters
all.
and they couldn't
Write
write.
their name, they couldn't write. So we
No.
started with class news, immediately in the beginning of the year, and they were just writing like strikes or circles or whatever the features were, but they were still composing a meaningful message because they're knowing that what they want to say is meaningful, and they could write that. Now they could write 1 to 2 sentences, and they've learned so many sight words
And
already.
they get
they're
right
sight
to
words.
it.
And
Right.
yeah, I mean, call them quick and easy words as well, because I term that because I'm like, it's quick and easy. And basically the poems, through my years of teaching, I've noticed that there were never any poems that children could read because they're always like so many words. So then I created my own poems and created my book where I write a poem that has to do with the quick and easy word or a sight word, but then the next one has that past word in it. So it's always revisiting the past. And then you do movements to them. They could be the silliest of poems, but they just come to life and they love them. So it's just like through the big books as well and through the stories. It's just the notion of this joy and how amazing they all are, and they can't wait for the next big book. They
Right.
could sit there, right, to do
Right.
that, right? Yeah.
Right. Wishy-washy, they love.
Yes, anything.
They love
Yes, anything. And then we move on to, we do create an individualized program where they are met with and they get read with every day by a team of people as well, like Miss B, Miss Casella, Serena, whoever, Safara, whoever we have a team where they get met and they get sent home 4 books per week that they're reading.
Right, so they're already at a place where there's just no anxiety attached to
No, none
any
whatsoever.
of
None.
writing, of
Nothing.
learning words, of reading it. And I think it's because you really are appealing this. It's a very systematic program. Like you have a
Very
system from
systematic.
start to finish, but you're engaging like the greatest strength of childhood, which is imagination,
Yes.
right? That and also the desire to keep getting better at something.
Yes.
Right?
yes.
So this idea of building, like, oh, I'm
They're building.
building on this. I
Right.
like this. I can do this. I want to do more. It's natural momentum.
And it's also, I have to say, we have 19 pre-Ks and then
20
20 we have.
Yeah.
And I tell you, we all know we're such a team that I'll have, whatever they're knowing. If we're finding that a child is struggling a little bit, Miss B will work with them during her Montessori time and pull them one-on-one and kind of get them stronger in what areas she'll catch up. Or when I'm planning with Miss Rana, Catherine here, we look through the books and she'll say, you know what, they're not getting this, let's revisit this. So it's a constant ongoing. And then if we have a child who's not yet ready to read, then we create their own individualized one-on-one program to learn letters and to help them. If they didn't master after in January, they're not ready to read, it's okay, we still
We
give them what
never
they
let a
need.
child fall behind.
Right.
But, we just don't. That's not the way we are. That's not
Yes.
the way we work.
No, you meet them where they're
Yeah,
at.
where they're at, and we help them to grow to that point. But
Well, and the same thing is on the other end of the scale where you have some very advanced gifted readers and you're developing work that meets their needs
Yes,
too.
yes, of course, yes.
So there's a lot of
Individuality, there is, and it doesn't go for a minute. Like it could be like the whole, like B'll tell me, nah, we've got to do this, we don't say, oh, we're gonna wait a week. It's
No, we
done
gotta
that
do it.
minute. It's
No,
done that we don't let anything go by. And then also in the classroom, in the Montessori classroom, we create these stations or these games that have to do with letter sounds or with word knowledge or whatever they're working on with us as a
the
group.
rhyming. Well,
The rhyming, yes, or the rhyming, that's a big portion
Yeah.
of what you've done. You should show them how. Yeah, Miss.
Oh yeah,
Miss B
so
does
B I
projects.
know is always every week there's a project.
Well, yes.
So I come from a much more artistic basis, right?
Yes.
So Miss B is about make it nice and I'm
Make it
about
nice.
express yourself.
know.
So we have come to this beautiful understanding in the projects that they do with Miss B. All our preschools have the opportunity in our Reggio program to be very, very expressive. But this particular response, and you really helped me to learn it as I've observed you, is they like read a book or they do the rhymes.
Yes.
And then, so here we have 1, 2, buckle my shoe, right? That was part of that rhyming
We did a
scheme.
whole bunch of rhyming.
So B prepped all these
She's
numbers,
an amazing time, she
pictures,
sings.
and they're doing the poem, so they're working on this rhyming, and then they have this baggie of all these pieces that she has pre-prepped, and she'll say, okay, find the number 1.
Yeah.
So they have to find it, put it in the top right-hand corner.
Not in the middle, not on this.
And so they're learning, auditory learning, following the
amazing.
direction, understanding positionality, up, down, side,
Next
middle, next to, over, under.
Yeah.
I was like, that
Right.
is
You and I had to come
phenomenal.
to that agreement.
And it's phenomenal learning,
Phenomenal.
necessary
Yes.
learning
Yes.
to really begin to get that concept and the beauty of you taking the time to prep that way. It's a
Unbelievable.
lot
Oh,
of
so
time.
and her in meticulous, like what she creates.
So
is
when every
amazing.
child gets that baggie, you feel so
Yes.
valued. Like there's a something in the we're getting to do our weekly
And they look forward
project.
to it. What is our project?
Right?
Right, and
And
they can't wait. They
and
can't
they
wait
have
for the
this
project.
one.
Yeah.
This was the
Knuckle
book.
Bunny, yes.
So
No, this was
Knuckle
cute.
Bunny, right?
This was cute.
Here they're reading this story about this bunny who goes through the washing machine, right?
Yeah,
Knuffle Bunny,
Knuffle
Here
Bunny.
she is.
right? And so what project are we going to do with it? That alone, I see
That
now
is
at this
inspiring.
point of the year of they're starting to imagine what is going to be the artistic expression
Oh,
of
they
this
can't
book.
wait for that. Like
Right.
that's the
So-
thing. It's everything that they.
Right.
And
to
this,
do.
they created a washing machine.
Yes.
Yes.
That was you,
That was
Rena?
me.
That was me.
So,
That was our washing machine with Knuffle Bunny inside.
and the pieces, they're
Yep.
coloring it in, they're putting it together, but they were so excited about this paper plate that then has plastic and it looks like a washing machine.
Yeah.
And now this is associated with this, which then they bring this home, they want to read this
Right.
book, they're sharing it with their
Yes.
parents, they have a story to tell about making it,
Mhm.
and it begins to create book talk early on.
Yes,
Right?
so
As an
much.
adult reader, one of my favorite things in books that I fall in love with is I want to talk to people about it. right?
Yes,
Yeah, of
exactly.
And you want to share, connect, talk about the characters, hold on to those favorite characters. And I see that translated into what you send home.
Yes.
The integration with the parents. And it's not, you're not sending home a drill on how to study your
Right.
spelling words.
No.
you know?
No, it's none
no.
of that. We
None
don't,
of
it's not,
that.
It's all. The reason why there's none of that, no spell checks. It's all through. Really all of us. It's ongoing assessment. So even during this interactive writing time, so if I'm demoing, B is going around noticing, like, okay, you know what, so and so needs help with the formation of this, or it's a constant ongoing assessment. You know, we need to practice these words a little bit more. Like it's constantly what's
A team.
happening. It's
Right,
a team.
or I'll say, we're not
And
ready, they're not ready
they're not
yet.
ready for this.
She
And-
might wanna go, and I'm
Right.
like,
No, they're not ready. So
yet."
it's constantly, and then so it's also like you said, it's a very structured, but it's a highly organized program where. Lucky enough, we have these wonderful organized teachers who she'll have in her classroom. She created folders for all of her 20 kids.
Is this the
No,
phone?
that's different.
That's a
So
read
that's
folder.
whatever. If children need an extra support in whatever they're doing, she'll put work in there, and then she keeps track of who needs what or who doesn't, and then she'll call them over during their Montessori time. And then Catherine is like the guru of organization. You have to
Yeah.
explain how you do this. You have a lot.
So
and
this is our
we pick up
our
books.
folder for our books. So every week, Rosalie and I sit down, we go through, we see what level the child's on, we find books to correlate with the level or the word that we're reading, and they get 4 books. This week we're doing 2 because we have a very short week.
Yes.
So we do it, and they know, everyone who's on the team knows, we read from one side first, and then we read from the other side. And it's really easy. They have their book baggies, and inside their book baggies they have a ring with all the quick and easy words that they've learned.
They've learned these many words.
They've
Yes,
learned 20,
yes,
26
yes.
words.
They're 4 years
Wow.
old.
And they've learned 26 words.
wow.
And this goes home.
That
Yes,
goes home
they're reading,
with
yes.
their books, and it's just a fun thing. We do it, we go over the words, we
Yes.
have them write the newest words, and then we take a picture walk through each book,
Yeah.
we tell them the name of the book, and then we walk through and we do a story like, oh, what do you think's happening in this picture now? We do the whole book, and then we go back, and they do. We have them point to the words as they read, and they'll do
And
it.
then they take these home and read
Yeah.
them
And
to
they take
their
these home
And
with
they're
their
wonderful about
parents.
returning them, and they read them with the parent. If they don't get read, like say if there's like, I don't know, you didn't take me today, or they came in later, so we're taking you later. Like they wanted people
They
to
always
have.
want to be
So
told.
why do you think it's so important at this early age? Because there's also a lot of talk of like, just let them be, don't push it early on. What do you think this age provides that it's important to kind of head into it early?
Well, I think the first and foremost is the belief in themselves and knowing that
confidence.
how incredible they can do anything, and they're able to
Mm.
read. I mean, they're special. Each of them are so special in their own way, but they begin to like have that confidence in themselves. Like that's the key, the confidence in themselves. But it's also it's play. It's joy. So this is through learning, it's joy. Listen, and people might disagree with me, but this is what I believe in. I believe you need to start early on in the really a solid foundation, because what happens, those primarily those early years really set you.
Yeah,
to-
they're the
for that-
roots.
for that- they're the
Those
roots of
building
it.
blocks.
Those are the
They
building
need the
blocks that they
building
have to
blocks.
need it, and they're not doing it in this yucky way that they have to write and they're crying over homework. It's not. It's
No.
nothing about that, but they are learning, and you need to keep having them grow because it affects them for the rest of their elementary years as well.
Well, and I
Big
think they
season.
also see that you as a team have so much fun teaching this.
Yes,
Like
we
they
do.
see you guys laughing, dancing,
We
Miss
do.
B going, not again,
Yeah,
Miss
she's
Rosalie, what a
Like even like so I
mess.
have to laugh like even with the shaving, we're doing shaving cream. He's like, all right, she just gives it. We do it on the table. She's thank God for
Oh,
organization.
that's
She
what
goes, I'm not.
paint to
And
it.
then she walked, and so she's like, no, yeah, beard
Paint?
paint. So everyone is like, she's giving everyone a certain amount. So the last time I did, I piled it really high.
Yeah.
She's like, and the mess, it was really horrible. They had to clean. So then the kids go hysterical because they know that we're not allowed. So she walks out of the room. So of
I
course
left for 2
yeah, God, I don't
seconds.
even know what. Yeah.
2 seconds. I come around, I turn my back, and you've got the shaving cream. Oh,
But the
she's got
kids
it.
know and they go hysterical. They go, hurry up, Miss B's coming. So they go hysterical with her.
So they're
they just know
involved
that we're
in this
crazy.
relationship.
We work well.
Yeah, we
I
do
know.
work
That
very
you
well
laugh,
together.
everybody's having
And she's
fun.
my organization. 'Cause I come up, we'll come up with these things. I'm like, all right, how should I do this for you organizing?
She
She's
makes
like,
it
all right.
real.
She makes
Yeah,
it real.
she
She's
does.
like
Good.
musical chair. She makes it happen for me. So without
But
her,
I
forget
will
it.
say, and I
Without
have to
Loretta,
say,
forget
I
it.
have to say, and I will say, I have worked in public school,
Mm,
first grade. I have worked many years in a high-level private school
mm.
for many years. I have never, and I've been here, almost 4 years now?
Yeah.
I have never seen a program like this before.
What do you think is different?
It's not rote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not
right.
rote.
It's creative in a way, but systematic.
Yeah, and it's still not, I greet the children in the morning and they're running in. Like, I don't understand why these doors are not being, knocked down.
Well,
Miss
it,
you
B's
know,
the best
and-
greeter. of
No,
all
but not
time.
only
True.
that, when these children, the curriculum nowadays with Common Core, which we do,
Right.
has put the pressure on these children.
Right.
When they go into kindergarten or first grade, they have to know, have to. And if they don't, they're put in lower,
right, they're
Right.
behind. They
they're
end up falling
behind, or
behind.
they need
They
all
do.
these tutoring. What's all the tutoring and
Right.
tutoring? Our children, they're getting it now.
Yeah.
They're getting it forward. They're getting their self-confidence. They're getting their
And they're
confidence.
relaxed. There's no
It's-
anxiety.
no,
There's no
nothing.
anxiety. They're like-
Nothing.
There's
And
not.
it's just, it is amazing.
And it
It
is
is.
pretty miraculous to learn to read.
It-
Like you
They
think
get
these
so happy.
letters, these shapes, the amount of brain work it takes
Yes.
to learn that,
It does.
and then you learn it,
I
and
mean,
like
not
what an
afraid.
I
achievement.
remember when I first started working
Yes.
with Rosalie, 7 years ago?
Oh, gosh, yeah.
And I remember Rosie's like, yeah, we're going to do the letters. I was like, oh, okay, sure. And then she goes, oh, and then they're going to be reading in January. And I looked at her, I'm like, no, they're not.
Well, look what
I'm
I did
like-
to you.
I know.
And you would say to me, B, leave it alone. I'm like,
We would
Leave it
always
alone.
be like, oh, they're writing backwards. Oh, they're writing capitals. And B, just leave it alone.
'Cause
You'll
you learned.
see.
They're
And
gonna
it
get
did.
it.
And
And it
Rosalie
did.
taught me, you just let it, and naturally they just progress at their own speed. And it was when they were reading, I was like,
And I
you're
tell you,
really reading, like.
I know the program, but I have to say, I feel so blessed and grateful to have such a team like
Absolutely.
this. Like, and
And-
Anna with
and the
everybody.
beauty
It's
of
the
it
two
was
of you to help me.
That you
great.
recognize is this isn't just something that you made up. This came out of 30 years of being in the system, working with inner city kids.
And I think that's where my urgency comes from because I did work at a school that was being taken over by the state, and what happened was it had to start early on. The program had to start in kindergarten
Right.
because by the time they get to third grade,
right.
that's when the testing comes, and then they're very strong and solid.
And the way
as
that I
readers.
see it is that these early years, and I think you're like tapping right into it, 3 years old, 4 years old, 5 years old, you are setting certain roots about who you are as a learner, what you're capable of. Messages are being sent out. And the deeper the roots go, the taller the tree grows. So this is a very deep rooted program, and what I'm hearing today is above everything else, it is rooted in such a love for what children are capable of and for their growth, and also for all the possibility that reading opens up to someone. If you
So
know how to
true.
read, you know how to write, it just gives you freedom. So with that said, ladies,
Yes.
you have to take these little ones back
Yes,
to school
school
before dismissal.
All right.
Thank you so
All
much.
right, thank you.
Awesome. I'll clean
Yes,
this up
okay,
and bring it back
great.
to you.
Perfect. Yeah.
I got it all. I'll take care of it. In the meantime, we'll bring Miss Lori out to close our show. Miss Lori.
Hello.
Here we are. Those little cutie
Oh my
pies.
gosh, that's adorable.
Come on in. Oh boy. So Lori, what do you think
Reading.
about that? Now, Lori, you actually worked with our older kids with
Yeah.
reading, and that we're actually going to bring them on our next show because that's a whole other type of interaction and
Right.
connection. But with these youngest souls, as they enter and learn to read, what Like, what was your impression just sitting backstage? Where did your thoughts go?
What I was thinking as I was watching Rosie talk, first of all, what I think value most, I think, in teachers and leadership, which I tell you all the time, is the enthusiasm.
Yes.
And
Yes.
Rosie doesn't. You will not walk in any second, any time, and catch her not being enthusiastic. And she loves what she's doing. She's
Well,
there.
and I
It's
wanna
never
hold
work.
that.
It's never work.
Because you remind me every time. Enthusiasm is breath to me. It breathes life.
Yes,
Right?
yes, animating.
It breathes life into something. And I feel like any subject has the capacity to come more alive.
That's right.
And it does have a lot to do
And
with the
it's,
enthusiasm of the teacher. It's part of the power of being the
Enthusiasm
teacher.
is very potent, and it's very hard to be around somebody enthusiastic without absorbing
Wanting
a
to
little bit
turn
yourself.
on, right?
The other thing I was thinking is when I was hearing Miss B say when she went to public schools and the private school, and the difference being rote. And then Rosie was saying, they're teaching the same thing. These kids, from what I've observed with my own child entering into your program, they're above core standards, but they're not. They're also not driven with an agenda, if that makes sense.
Ah, interesting.
They're gonna reach it, but they reach it with enthusiasm, and the word Rosie used was joyfully, because it's one of the few places, it might be the only other place besides my own home, which I commend myself as a mom, but this is with a unique set of circumstances, my son and stuff, but it's the only school, all joking aside, where I've ever seen children, as they're learning what you were saying, the shapes, the orientation, and it comes together, and it's words, and they have all this core stuff to learn to build upon reading, but these kids are actually enjoying the experience, the rewards of what reading gives you, while they're still learning
Yes.
how to put stuff together to read. So they're not. It's hard. They're
No.
reading before they're reading.
Yes.
You can
and they're
reword that for me,
enjoying.
but they're enjoying everything me and you love about a book.
Yes.
They're going places already that the book takes them.
Uh-huh.
They're being transformed.
Yes.
They're
and-
having discussions about morality, reading these stories at this young age. Was that nice? She said that they're already experiencing what scholars experience, and you're still learning that this little triangle and this makes an
because
A
what
at the same time.
right, what
Who
you're
else does that?
saying is they are now engaged in a process that brings reward in and of itself.
Yes.
Versus getting to the end game, which is I'm on level C. Now we get that with our kids, and you know it even with the older ones, where there's a sense of I want to get to the next level. Okay, it's driving it, but so much of our work is, well, be here now on the level you're at, and let's find a book that you are going to love on this level, because you might get to an F, but want to go back to that book you fell in love with on a D.
I pictured that as you guys were talking, like we might read a story we read as a child, and we're rereading it with a child, and you feel happy and good. My son came into kindergarten reading well above. I mean,
Yes.
he could read very clearly and stuff, but he joined right in. He didn't miss out on a darn thing.
Right.
He wasn't left wanting the entire year. Going back and reading, he still got to go the same places with those children together.
Yes.
But at the same time, they find a unique way where he was also being stretched. So they're getting to see what their efforts are for as they're doing it.
And I think back to the teacher, we talk a lot about this spiritual practice in education. And what also occurred to me when you were speaking is part of the magic of it is that Rosalie and her team have complete faith in their program. They have faith in what they can create. So then the process can be the process. Like Rena was saying, where she would get worried about, oh, a child's not getting this, or B was saying they should be writing their letter this way. And it's like, no, it's going to happen.
Right.
Like, let's be
Because
here
they're-
now.
The program that they have faith in, it's cooperative with the child's ability, and Rosie has complete faith in that as well.
Yes, she's
So
not. So it's
her
not rote 'cause
program
it's
is
not
dependent
generalized.
on what she believes the child can do. It's not
Yes.
a matter of like they're not meeting our standard. It's what you said, where they at, and it comes together. And I've never seen a child not enjoying the book. You get this feeling. I'm sure you and I schooled in a different time. There's been a time where the way that education happened, and I can say this across all the subjects at Spark, where you zone out for a moment, you
Yes.
stop and check something, under your desk, was that gum, whatever, you come back up, you have no idea what's going on.
Well,
You missed
yes.
you missed something, and here they can come in if they're pulled for something, or they need to run and get a drink of water and come back. They're still there. They're still connected.
and they will work to keep them connected.
Right.
My daughter, Mary, right? She's my youngest, but she just came back from this time in Africa.
Right.
And one of the things she said is in Africa, because she was just out in the bush, there was no connection. She said, I really came to love reading. And I said, Mary, like it came to you late. I didn't know you didn't love reading before. She said, I didn't know I didn't either. She said, but and she was in all advanced literature classes going through school. She said those classes we were reading and annotating, making notes, coming up with themes, character. She said this reading was just a complete absorption into, and again, you and I always end up talking about this other space, that space between the lines
Right.
of the text.
The breath.
The what?
The breath, like
The
you were
breath,
saying.
the
Yes.
enthusiasm, the space between the lines. If we are going to read between the lines, right? We're teaching kids how to write on the lines, how to read the lines, but as teachers, as the connectors, as the overseers, we are always reading between the lines
That's right.
of what's happening between you and me right now.
Mm-hmm.
What am I reading in everything, in your emotions, your energy, your abilities, and how do then I use that information to keep you on the path,
Right.
right?
And that's why you started out saying, why is it important for them to start reading so early, the literacy very, very early,
Yes,
where
yeah.
some people say, like, let them play, let them,
Right.
they don't know that, they do know the difference, but at the school, there is not a difference
Between the play.
between play,
And the
being
learning.
good, reading, math, they're all equal, and they're all intertwined, woven.
Right.
Like you like to say.
Part of that path.
But when they're young, you absolutely want them to. I mean, there's the whole physiological that axons are forming and whatever, and as they're reading, they're making these connections that only in a certain growth phases that they're going to make. Can never. There's an upper limit when it's just going to really slow down and then stop. And so you want as many, dendrites, axons just in the brain, all these
To
things.
light up,
You just
right,
you
to
just
light
want
them
them growing and reaching and
Right.
overlapping, and so they can make all these connections later in life. At the same time, you want it to be a very natural process so that they're always comfortable reading. Like when you're saying, Mary says, I didn't know I loved reading. or I didn't start reading until now, and that's what I was thinking is like, well, she did love reading, she just didn't know it until now. So it's not that she began loving it, she got distracted. She's been here. She's been here.
Yes.
She did love it.
Yes.
I go
That's
through
actually
phases
very
where
true. That's
you leave college, you leave whatever else is important, and we go through phases as adults where it's like I'm not feeding my brain. I go through a year sometimes where it'll be like a year, and I'm like, I think I felt myself get a little dumber this year because I didn't actively do anything, and it's like I got distracted.
no,
And
that's
you
very
forget
important.
what feels good. I forget
Yes.
how much learning feels good, how
To
fun
sink,
it is,
to
how
sink into, and
Mhm.
that's what kids do naturally. Is if they are engaged, they are in a state of meditative awareness, like they are truly in the moment. So that kind of engagement in their period of literacy, they are there.
right.
They're fully there. And as they get older, there's way more distraction. And it's part of why I think we put the adult reading with the child one-on-one.
That's my favorite thing.
Right.
I tell it that's my favorite thing. Almost heartbreakingly so about this school. And there's never a moment when I read with a child that I don't think it for a second before I read with them, like give them this 20 minutes.
Full
Of-
attention.
I just want to give them this 20 minutes because I don't know what happened in their day. I don't know if they were running late, missed breakfast. I don't know if they're tired. I don't know if they're having a great day. And this is putting a slam to what's
Right,
otherwise.
true.
But wherever they're coming from, a high or a low. But I'm like, this 20 minutes, we get to be together and
Share.
combat something, decide what would have been the right path of empathy to take with the character. We fought zombies,
Yeah.
but we're together in this for this 20 minutes.
Right.
That's all I might get, and that's why I love being in the reading.
And it does hold to what you were saying before. It is easy to get distracted. I look at my own reading practice. We were talking about daydreaming today with the fifth
So my
graders.
kid come in with
Right.
coffee.
Uh,
She took me on a guided
Daydreaming.
daydreaming. Well, I jumped in on with you were doing it
Right.
with the students.
So I was such a daydreamer growing up, and I would start reading a book and then I'd get lost. I'd go into my own version and I'd come back and say, what did I just read? It became very difficult, that level of distraction from my own world. But when you're in partnership, there's a certain level of natural accountability to each other. So if I go back to this idea of the path, of the process, when we're walking with a guide, it's less likely to get lost.
Right. Well, and how many times do we ask ourselves, if I'm reading a book with somebody, they're reading a page, I'm reading a page, a couple kids with different levels of fluency, we read it out loud together at the same time. They and I will just word for word, we know our cadence together and we read like that. And we both will stop at the same spots and we'll be like, what do we think about that? And it's
Yeah.
also that connected, like as a community, do we go for that?
Mm.
And it's gotten to where heart to heart at the same time we'll be like,
Yeah.
I don't get that. Okay, and then we just can go back, but it's such a connection that first of all, books are like have this transcendent quality that takes you up places. That's why it's therapeutic. You get to get away for a moment.
Yes, it's a friend.
You get to
such
do
great
something,
world.
but it's such unique circumstance where you can go there with somebody when you get to read with them, and you don't know people's situations if they can't read at home.
Right.
My son also does homeschool. We personally don't do the home reading, and that's okay.
Yeah.
He does home reading, but we do our reading. So he does the reading at school, and he's right there with both groups, and it hasn't delayed him. He's bumping up level by level. It's not like, well, you didn't read at home, it's a penalty. He's cruising. He is reading it. You know, so, and some people can't. Life is busy. Long Island, of all places, hard to survive.
Mhm.
So without judgment, they still get a grandma, a mom. I'm hoping I'm still the mom, a sister, a friend, whoever they need to read with. And
Yeah.
reading with an adult is, there's
Such an act
Yeah.
of love.
yes.
And so, as you were talking too, I think it's an act of intimacy, right?
Yes.
So, literary intimacy.
I like
Take that
I'm gonna
on.
read it.
If you feel moved to sit with someone for 20 minutes and share reading out loud a page, a page, a page, even just hearing the exchange of the voice and the words and the meaning and finding meaning together in a
Yes.
few pages.
And I want to add, because you talked about the youngest, for anybody watching, it's so much in my heart to just add, whenever you have 15-20 minutes, read to the very youngest and the very oldest among us.
Oh, let's not
It means
forget
the
that.
same to
Yes,
both.
it
If you can
does.
just do the reading and give them a break, read loudly
Beautiful.
for both and clearly,
Beautiful.
right?
No, that's a beautiful note to end on. Okay, so thank you, Miss Lori.
Literary intimacy,
Literary intimacy, book intimacy,
book intimacy.
story intimacy,
I like
Reading
it. I
intimacy.
like it.
whatever we come up with.
It's
But it
lovely,
is,
lovely.
it's a lovely thought. Until next time,
Happy
thank you.
reading.
Happy reading. And don't forget to read between the lines.
That's right. I like that.
Good.
Bye.
Where'd you
Happy
get
weekend.
your coffee. You snuck out?